Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be playing May I Take Your Order. This is being filmed the day before, so, yeah. Alright, I filled out a few applications today. This is the last one. I've been applying to work at restaurants all over. It may not seem glamorous, but I want to see how different places are run. If I want to open my own restaurant someday, it's crucial to see what it does and doesn't work. A friend told me I should save my top pick for last, and I should really kick for that. My hand's about to fall off. It's a pretty ritzy establishment, but comfortable. Fancy, but not overpriced. Important clientele, but still kind and inclusive. If you can't make connections here, you're dead. Financially speaking. And the food? Remarkable. I've never heard of anything ever having a bad meal. And the food? Remarkable. I've never heard of anyone ever having a bad meal here. I gotta know how they accomplish so much. So I try not to be too nervous, and I fill this out like any other application. First name is... Step. Okay. I fill in my address and try not to despair over my handwriting before getting to the personal section. Gender is... I finish filling out the form. I cap the pen and lean back in my chair. Man, it's nice to be done. Bruh, I thought they'd give me a last name or something. Well, except for heading outside and turning them all in one at a time. Better get to it. 2 weeks later, and I'm waist deep in my first Saturday shift at the restaurant. Busy doesn't even begin to describe it. After 7 hours of the weekend rush, I'm ready to go home. Ooh! I stop off at table 6 and go through the emotions. Oh, thank you for dining with us, sir. My name is Step, and I'll be your server this evening. He smiles at me. Pleasure to meet you, Mr. Step. Have you dined with us before, sir? Yes, indeed. I'm quite happy to be back. Just you this evening, sir. No, my girlfriend will be here shortly. I'll just have a cup of coffee while I wait for her. I'll go get that for you right away, then. No rush. Countless families and couples have come and gone today, but for the past hour, that one guy has been clogging up table 6. Are you doing alright, sir? He checks his watch again. Yes, I mistook the time. He'll be here any second. He's been saying that for the past 45 minutes. I tell him to pack it up and leave, but he doesn't have the look I'd expect of someone in his position. There's anxiety, but only a little bit, and there's no disappointment. Not a shred of doubt in his eyes. He really thinks, "Excuse me." Looks up at me. It seems he's come to... He looks at me. It seems he's come to some sort of decision. Thank good. But this is a restaurant with crayons, correct? Yes, sir, we have those for kids. Excellent! A sting of ferocity enters his eyes, one that doesn't quite pair naturally with crayons. One, please, and red, if you've got it. Yeah, sure. I'm not about to argue with a customer, so I head to the front. It's not exactly the usual, but the guy has been sitting here for half an hour with no phone. I'm caught between pity and irritation, and hope, for the umpteenth time, that he has enough empathy to tip well on a single cup of coffee he's been nursing. There's a small tin with several crayons. We try to keep fresh ones ready. I grab. Let's give him the red one. I snatch up a red crayon. No sense being mean to him. He may be weird, but he's probably having a bad night too. I bring the crayon back to him and hand it over. Thank you, Mr. Step. It's no big deal. Hey, are you okay? I saw you don't have a cell phone, but we could call your girlfriend and... No warning. Sorry, they're yelling. No warning. No nothing. He knocks everything off the table and climbs right on it. What? Sir? Please get down. Okay, they misspelled. His left hand scrawls a wide circle, then another, then sections off areas, slicing as though the crayon were a knife. He fills it with a symbol. They look almost zodiac-like. I thought this was supposed to be a comedy. It's like I stood up too fast. There's rushing in my head. There's a pressure, like my ears are going to pop. Ooh. Oh. The tablecloth rips, and there's a spray of sweet-smelling fluid. I leap away from the table as something bursts out. What the hell? Where's the comedy? Wet spiked appendages are flailing all over, slapping and snaking their way over the windows and doors. They're fleshy but soft. Too soft. They mush and disfigure as they slam against everything in sight. One smacks the hat off another diner. One continues to eat her meal. Unfazed. Okay. Nobody's screaming and nobody notices me on the ground. Arms raised to protect my face and throat too tight to scream again. But that's okay. The thing is screaming enough for the entire restaurant. It's letting out a dual-tone screech, high and low, but I can't discern one throat, let alone two. Crayon thrown to the floor. The stood-up guy, at the worst diner ever, starts to call out at it. Sweetie! For goodness sake, put your body on. We're in a nice restaurant. It screeches and roars back at him. I know, but... He waves a bundle of cloth at it. I brought you some clothing. And it's super comfy. It slurps up the bundle of fabric, and the creature bubbles and draws back in on itself, twisting until... Damn! She fine! I emerge! You're here! You had me worried, so I figured I'd break the barrier down a bit. Teleporia. You have no idea how good it is to see you. When he says the word, my ears finally pop, and my teeth grit. It's a bad word. It's not a curse word per se, but it's not a curse word per se. Not so much a word you wouldn't say in front of your boss. It feels like the wrong answer in a classroom or meeting. That moment when everyone turns and looks at you, and you just want to sing through the floor. I just wanted to sing through the floor. I wanted to very quietly go to my coat and change my name and move to whatever town is on the exact opposite point on the globe from where I'm currently standing. You informed me the barrier was to be frayed on this portion of the world. I will hold you responsible for the trouble. He's beaming at the thing that came out of the hole, but I can't look at it. It hurts to roll my eyeballs towards it, and I'm dehydrated. When I close my eyes, the dark behind my eyelids is so cool and so soft. Huh? There are tears running down my cheek. I hadn't noticed. The guy, Hendrik, beams and gestures towards gagged of eyes and puffy wool. It's my girlfriend, Teleporia. Impudent microbe. Oh god, I gave her a British accent. I may choose to craft for myself the form of creator, a birthing one. But I am capable of far greater creations than your prepubescent females, and far more erroneously, your inflated ego thinks I would deign to refer to you as a form of companion. Her words smash over him like a gentle breeze. It looks like she could rip his face off, but her roars just make his eyes brim with joy. We've been dating for 400 years now, and though the long distance thing is an eensy bit of an annoyance, we make it work. The moment I finally devise an effective method of accomplishing your demise, I will rip your soul from your ever-degenerate body and chew it to a gruel. He sits down on the all but destroyed table and picks up his menu. Wait until the beautiful day when I can be with you forever. You're going to need something else. Teleporia stops. She looks at me and bounces between eyes, trying to make contact with one of them that doesn't stare down into my deepest inadequacies. Bro, they can make all these damn words, but they spell the word wrong. There is human fuel here? I nod. Her mouth breaks open into a smile? Excellent! You are spared from your punishment, Hendrik, if only for a moment. She sits down, but not on a chair. Dozens of her tentacles are still present throughout the entire room, spikes driven deep into the surfaces, blocking all the exits. She settles into one of the squishy appendages, looking pleased. So then, maybe we should order an appetizer. It's not that I can't believe that this is happening. I have an open mind. But as far as a sudden supernatural shifts to my life, I was really hoping for wizard school. Or just a plain old haunting. Some ghosts are pretty cool, right? At least with a zombie or something, I'd know the rules here. What are the rules with this thing? Do I throw rice on the ground to stall her? Will she attack me if I touch her with iron? I'd listen to my gut, but I can't make out anything but general foreboding. Demon? You summon demons, so that fits. But I don't know, something doesn't seem quite right about that. Maybe she's a... Excuse me! Oh, I can barely think, but I can at least fall back on one set of rules. I struggle to stutter out of the rodent reply. Would you like to start off with super salad tonight? The man grins, gives an eager nod. Could I please get the blue cheese salad? And for my sweetie... Teleporia rolls her eyes and her teeth flash as she cuts it. Hendrik, I've been on enough of these sham dates to know that ordering for your companion is rude. His face falls, but it's been ages since you've eaten any food. You're chewing on the fork right now. She gives him a glare and slowly places a slightly bent cutlery back down on the table. Fine. Before he can say another word, she makes her move. I don't want your advice, though. I want the young human to choose for me. Oh, no. He sighs annoyed, but he checks himself before looking at me. I think he knows that she's putting me on the spot. I can appreciate that he's trying to look out for me. I mean, I'd appreciate it more if he could not have summoned some kind of eldritch thing during an already busy Saturday shift. Or at all. I ease my throat open enough to squeak out. What should I give her? Lamb chili? I feel like she'd enjoy lamb sacrifice. Right? She'd enjoy lamb sacrifice. This doesn't seem to mean much of anything to her. Great. And what would you like for your entree? She slams a fist down on the table. My stomach lurches. First, bring me the matter. This physical form requires fuel to sustain itself. I turn on my heel and fly out of there, an excuse to leave. If there are any kindly extra-dimensional beings looking down on me right now, I would like to take this opportunity to thank them. I rush into the kitchen. But in the kitchen, everything's still bustling out. Other servers are calling in their orders. The ambitious cooks are working. The slightly less ambitious cooks are cracking jokes with each other. They're as oblivious as the customers out front. I can see my manager discussing some menu changes with the head chef. Hey, does anyone else see what's going on out there? But nobody turns to look at me. Hey, I'm serious. What the hell's going on? Are they ignoring me? Do you expect me to just come back here and bring in this order like nothing's wrong? I take a sarcastic tone. Yeah, we got a blue cheese and a chili for table 6. Just another usual night, right? Without warning, a tray with orders put down on the counter next to me. But other than that, there's no hint of glance, no guilty looks. Hey! Nobody even flinches. Fine. Looks like I'm on my own. Oh, this is a lot of reading. My voice. Wait. Oh, I have to pee. And did I tell you how lovely your eyes are this evening? From your ever-effusive sewer pipe of compliments springs something's worthwhile. I made most of them myself, but the eye in the center of my head was my preferred object. I couldn't even tell the difference. Your anatomy has gotten so much better since the last decade. It is easier when I have a fresh supply of study materials, so I suppose I can remain here long enough to consume some matter. Let no sentient being claim that I do not repay my debts. Well, that's just one of the perks of the job. Teachers can bring home some knowledge. Cooks can bring home some food, and surgeons can bring spare body parts back to their girlfriends. I can say with relative certainty that isn't how it works. If I ever find out this man's the same, I'm never going to this hospital. I serve Teleporia, her chili, trying not to get too close. Please be careful, it's very hot. Remember, sweetie, that too much heat can injure. Silence, meat garden. I know what to do with a violated heat. Ow. That was loud. She flings a scalding liquid across the table, and it hits Heldrick square in the chest. Ah! He rushed out to the bathroom, face red from pain. We don't serve our soup at a heat that can do permanent damage, but that still has to hurt. She closes most of her eyes and inhales. A deep breath, satisfied. When she speaks again, her rough voice is a tranquil tone. Ah, damn, I'm doing the British accent for myself. Ah. Clean it up, human. This is an establishment of standards, is it not? Well, it was, I mutter. The elegant charm might be a bit altered by the sudden presence of giant tentacles. She snuggles down into her seat. This is a gift from your own nose. This is a sliver of my true form. Well, it's lovely. Sorry that you didn't like the chili. Apology unnecessary, human. I enjoyed that immensely. She sniffs the air. And it smells nice as well. She dabs a little of the meat on her neck. This body has concentrated blood flow around the throat and wrists. These pulse points heat and disperse stray molecules of matter, allowing humans to perceive them with their noses. She seems quite pleased with the luxury. She wraps a scarf around herself. Now that I think about it, the clothing Hendrik brought for her is all very heavy. A maxi skirt, a thick sweater, and a blanket scarf. The way you're clutching that scarf, are you cold? You may not have my scarf, it retains my heat. I will continue to generate and retain heat, and it will belong to me, not to you. I take a step back. No, that's all your heat, fair and square. She growls, happily. Yes! All mine. Hendrik will be procuring more matters this evening, which will continue to power this form. Physical exertion is a luxury, and the caloric energy is necessary to move but a digit. She lifts one of her own claws. It's precious. I've gone for the thousands of years living and waiting for foolish summoners to tear open rifts and let in the good heat from your world. Teleporia lays down on the table. The edges of the scarf trail into her chili, or at least what's left of it. Is it selfish to be happy that she's disarmed now? I look at the still present tentacles and recalculate that statement. She at least cannot harm me with soup. And that's something. So, human, how do you generate your own heat? It's not great really. Have you ever gotten sweaty? I would get physical activity is fun. I too enjoy hunting. Actually, consumption of matter at times comes second to the thrill of pursuing a terrified creature. Well, I was thinking more of exercise, to keep in shape. She stops. Do you waste your fuel on extra heat? No, it isn't a waste. It's fun. She hisses through her jagged teeth. The human enjoys this, does he? Yes, it's nice to be able to move, isn't it? She taps her knife against her glass. Well, I suppose. Ooh. And Hendrik returns, getting along well as might be expected. Still, thank you for keeping her company. We eat our appetizers, and she shakes her head. I'm finished with mine. He laughs. Of course, how could I forget? So then, would you like to move on to the main course now? The next part of the meal? Ah, yes, the larger portions. Hendrik points to her menu. So, what were you thinking? I always like steak, but I admit that I was kind of thinking about splurging on the... Hey! Human step. I snap to attention. Yes, ma'am. Choose. Do it promptly and wisely, or else I will need to consume something else for my main course. She's staring at me, red in the eyes, and her glaze lingers on my mouth. She stares at my teeth and licks her lips. Could she eat my teeth? I think you would enjoy... live lobster. Hendrik gives a bit of a nod. That's my order too. It's been a while, but this is a special tonight. What? At what point did humans discover the joy of consuming live creatures? Wait, she didn't think I'd serve her while it was still... No, sweetie, I'm afraid that most of us are still a touch produce about that sort of thing. But they have a tank here, so the lobster is fresh. The thing is as fresh as squeezing the life from a creature with your jaws, feeling a wrinkle and struggle in a fruitless attempt to stave off the icy curtain of death. Oh god, this guy's enjoying that. She looks straight at my throat. 2 lobsters coming right up. I rush away as quickly as I can. I try to convince the chef to let me serve one lobster alive. I feel downright ghoulish, but between me and the crustacean, I'm going to defend myself every time. But her reaction was the same as last time. She prepares the dish as usual and hands them off to me, never making eye contact or reacting to anything I say. What is this? She lifts up the extra utensil. It's a lobster cracker. You use that to crack open the shell. It's a fair idea, but it's such a waste. Step. Jesus has a deceased creature. Well, if food is dead, isn't it easier to consume? She raised her claw at me. What if you have to crack it open anyway? Hendrik is already digging the meat out of his. I like it. It's soothing to have a little tactical activity as part of your meal. Teleporia, cross lip on the lobster crack. Meat shield. How dare you employ your tool? When you put either end of the metal over it, raise it up and demonstrates. He holds the lobster cracker and one leg up, leaning forward so they're close enough for her to get a good look. She holds hers up, pantomiming his actions, then promptly grabbing one of his hands, wrapping the cracker around his pointer finger and gripping it tight. Ooh! His finger juts out at an odd angle and blood drips into the torn tablecloth. She crackles and throws the metal tool at his head. Foolish! I can easily employ such a simple item. Is he blushing, or is he he's leaning away from his injured hand? Right, you got me. He sure does look embarrassed. It's really hard to tell through the pain. I mean, this is an expression of pain on his face, right? I guess she got him? He breathes heavily, trying to get himself under control. As though to prove a point, he goes right back to eating dinner, as though nothing were wrong. Before I go, is everything to your liking? Is the food empowering your true form enough? Silly step. When my true form, I do not consume human fuel. This human template, what did you call it? Hendrik caught mid-bite and he covers his mouth to respond. Human sonar. Human sonar. It consumes calories, inhales oxygen, excretes feces, all the same as yourself, I see. I never expected to have a restaurant patron ask if I breathe and poop, but here we are. But my true form requires something much more deeply sustaining. Ah, God, the music's gone. She stares at me. She looks at my teeth again. She looks me in the eye. She holds that eye contact and waits. I try not to squirm, but my moxie is inadequate for the situation. She waits and then laughs. I can breathe again. Delicious. A light dusting of fear, nothing too overwhelming. If that doesn't strike her as much fear, please let me never learn what does. So you eat fear then? Falls into my purview. Suffering, Sweetie's true form, its concepts, and she builds her human sonas to have quite a taste for them too. Any form of important emotions can sustain her, but she's picky. I am not. Suffering's the only thing worth eating. Eating anything else would be beneath me. It's okay, whatever you eat. I love you just the way you are. And I would like you much better with several more stab wounds to the head. Anytime, sweetie. Oh God, he's blushing. I can't with this. Though I managed to sneak away for the next 15 minutes, I know that I will eventually have to return, trying to strike up a conversation with the Langcucks again. So how do you guys feel about the recent tentacle invasion? Of course, nobody responds. Yeah, it's hard to really put into words, huh? No response. Just click. I guess the spooky atmosphere has a certain charm, but I don't think it'll catch on with baby boomers. Bloomers? Conventional wisdom says that they like elegance or rusty charm, and Midwestern moms are not into dripping fluids. I mean, as a general group, I don't want to consume individual tastes. This gets boring quickly, so after the appropriate waiting period, I head back over. So, thank you for dining with us tonight. I did it. I made it through the evening. I'm tempted to not even give them a check to rush them right out the door, but I refuse to slip up now. It's been a delight getting to know the both of you. How kind of you. You know, I was planning on heading out, but you know what? I couldn't care less if I attempted. I'm very powerful. I am the most capable of caring far less than most humans could in their most apathetic dreams. Let's do dessert. Okay. I like from his smiling face to Tele Perez, cruel one. I know how this goes. Let's make a recommendation. Okay, I'm gonna end it off here. Part 2 is coming out Wednesday. But my mouth cannot handle this. Oh god, this is so much talking. Fuck it, gosh, it's the wind. Banana Foster Flambe. Looks like we're getting a little PG. See you guys Wednesday. Bye.